So we're now live, and while I'm getting a little bit of a problem with my actually showing up a countdown on screen, that doesn't mean we can't have some music. That lovely music that Alyssa loves so much.
I guess I should have earplugs in, huh?
Is that right?
Oh, otherwise known as headphones. Sorry. Yes.
Yes. I tried to have headphones last week, but we struggled. I kept getting delay with my sound. So, I mean, hopefully this is better.
Yes, this is working. Last week it worked off of the laptop, and if I recall correctly.
It's all fun and games, isn't it? But anyway, we've got one or two people who are joining us on the chat room. We've got one or two people joining us on the view account, and that's rising steadily. Fantastic. Andrew English is saying, can't see the countdown or hear the music. Oh, right. Okay, well, music
is barely there. It's just really, really low.
It's just nicely subtle. But it's just something in the background for the first couple of minutes. Just a couple of updates just before we get into the thing at the top of the hour. I want to first and foremost say thank you very much indeed to Dan Berry, who has been representing an Englishman in San Diego at Emerald City Comic-Con this last weekend. He's been having a great time. He's been sending us lots of pictures, lots of videos, had a great time at the Funcast, had a great time at Funko HQ as well. Basically, he's been having a great time in Seattle. What he has also done has been sending us a bunch of interviews, which we are going to be posting on an Englishman in San Diego on Wednesday, or at least we're going to be putting them public. At the moment, though, they are available for our Patreon supporters. So we've got some great interviews. It's got to be said, he's done us proud. The T. Franklin interview, who's the creator behind Bingo Love, which is a book you may have heard of, which came out on Kickstarter, very successful Kickstarter last year. Basically, it's been published by Image Comics now. It's the lesbian bingo players book. There's no other way of really describing it. It's basically about two women who meet at bingo and basically get basically swept up into the conforming into the traditional straight relationships, having children, lives, loves, and all of their experiences, but eventually reconnect at bingo as older women. And it's about them coming to terms with their sexuality. It's a great book. It really, it's hasn't got a cynical bone in its body. It's a fantastic read. So there's T. Franklin, who's interviewed on the site. There's some great interviews. They are linked on our Twitter page, and I am going to be putting them on the rest of the social media. But at the moment, they are available as Patreon exclusives, and we'll be posting them on the website as of Wednesday. So if you're a Patreon supporter, number one, thank you very much indeed for all your support. It allows us to do what we do, and also it's our way of saying thank you very much indeed for all of that. So there you go. That's that. The other thing I wanted to talk about very quickly before we get started, I have had one or two people messaging asking me whether I will be attending San Diego Comic-Con as press. Just to let you know, I will be attending San Diego Comic-Con, so I will be coming to the convention. I've managed to get myself badges. I've been very generously provided them by Comic-Con International. Yet to determine whether they are press badges or complimentary badges, but basically I think for us supporting the show, they have been very generous to allow me to get badges to come this year. So yes, I will be coming to San Diego. Looking forward to it. But
the most important thing, who is your roommate?
Yes, we'll be having a bit of a party. We'll be wrecking house. No, we won't. Myself and Alyssa, we're going to be roommating this year, so it's going to be good. Looking forward to it. Basically, it's just going to be. We're actually going to be there. Fingers crossed. For the vast majority of July, which means we're going to be bringing a lot of stuff as we get ready for San Diego Comic-Con from San Diego. So as we really get into it. we're looking for it. Apparently,
And
Alyssa has a crazy echo.
I do. Perhaps, do you have some headphones?
Is it me that needs to go headphones now?
I think it is. Yes. You know, that's how it usually works. What it also means in July is that Leonard and I may actually be in the same room together for a vast majority of the hangouts. So there will be more interactions and more special guests. And hopefully we may be even able to get our osmoses out and do some live videoing and shows throughout the preparation for Comic-Con when the signs go up and so forth. So we're really hoping to do a major push. Yes, exactly. Get the juices flowing to get us ready.
I know that I'm saying this, that we'll be doing that, and that we'll be preparing for Comic-Con by being there. This is when Caroline keeps clipping me round the ear going, I've come on holiday. I would like to actually do holiday things. You are not doing this Comic-Con shit now. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how it's gonna pan out. But
that's why there'll be both of us working on the Comic-Con shit, so you can take some time off with your lovely wife, who is like one of my dear friends.
Sounds like a plan.
You can do touristy stuff.
Yeah. Let's dive straight in because we've got lots to talk about today. Welcome to Talking Comic-Con, a cup of tea with an Englishman in San Diego. My name's Leonard Sultana, and we've got ourselves 19 weeks to go to San Diego Comic-Con 2018. It's just, we're really kind of, someone tweeted this the other day, and it's very accurate. 2017 seemed to last about 3.5 years. 2018 is just barreling on. It's just cracking straight through. It's incredible. Lots of stuff that's happening certainly this weekend and tonight. We've got the Oscars, which we're going to get into in a bit. We're also going to get into Emerald City Comic-Con. We're hopefully going to be getting a live report from Danbury. He's going to be finding himself a quiet corner. However, I've had a couple of people messaging me on social media because I did prompt if anyone wanted to jump in and do a live report from Emerald City. Basically turned around and said, don't even bother because there's no signal, there's no Wi-Fi. I mean, I turned around and said, what is it about convention centers? And Mikey O'Leary has turned around and said they're giant concrete encasements in urban areas with other large man-made structures that tend to block signals, and then add a huge uptick of people trying to use available cell towers, causing bottlenecking. Yeah, it kind of makes sense. I kind of understand it. But if you're at Emerald City, perhaps you're watching this somehow, let us know. Maybe you want to jump in. We'll try and send you the link. We'd love to have you on. If you just want to send us just a picture or so, or just 5 seconds, just to come on and let us know exactly how it's going, because it's sounding so much fun.
Last year, I was able to get a halfway decent signal. We had a problem at Emerald City Comic-Con. We were trying to do a live shoot from there, but I was able to get a halfway decent signal by the planters on the main level by the Reed Pop booth. So it was just outside of the glass doors by the planters. It's kind of a little bit tucked away, far away, and you could somebody might be able to get, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes and just check in with us and see how things are going. We'd love to know lines, big events that are happening, announcements, that kind of thing.
Yeah. We've got loads of people who are jumping in on the Q&A. Hello there, guys. We've got Super Cat Chick, we've got Leanne D, we've got Andrew English, we've got Scott, we've got Michael, we've got Craig, we've got Aaron. Fantastic. It's great to have everybody jumping in. By all means, any questions that you want to dive in, any topics that you want to talk about today, do let us know. This is your show, so we want to talk about what you want to talk about today. Yes, we will be doing our Stan Lee watch because we do seem to be talking a lot about Stan Lee each and every week. And yes, we are going to be talking about that because, yes, he's not been well by the sounds of things. So it's not just his legal issues. Andrew Dickinson's talking about Kevin Smith. Yes, we're going to be talking about him around the same time as we talk about Stan Lee. But what we wanted to talk about primarily today is the event that is taking place in 3 weeks' time. It is WonderCon. It's the sister event created by Comic-Con International, which takes place this year, and certainly for last year as well, at the Anaheim Convention Center. It's already gearing up to be one of the big cons of the year. Still, it hasn't sold out. They're still pushing for people to buy tickets. Certainly Sunday's got plenty, apparently, by all accounts. I think Thursday still has plenty. So it's still an event that doesn't completely sell out. So it is yet to reach the kind of dizzy heights of your Emerald City Comic-Cons, your New York Comic-Cons, your San Diego Comic-Cons. But still, it's got so much stuff which has got everyone's attention. So we're going to dive into certainly the first week and a half's worth of Talkin tips that have been put forward to kind of work through what has been discussed so far. Now, this is something else that someone has been talking to us about on social media, but both myself and Alyssa. And Scott has just jumped in straight away with it. We're just diving straight into this topic, lottery system. By all means, any questions that you have, do jump in on the Q&A. As far as I'm aware, the lottery system at the moment only really exists on the exclusives that are available. As far as I'm aware, it doesn't apply to any rooms, although I understand that it may apply to autographs. But I've been looking today to try and find out if that's official. Lots of people have been talking about autograph lottery systems. So if anyone has a link, or if anyone can DM me any of that, I know that the unofficial blog have been talking about it. So I think I may just have to go onto there. Before we get into that, while I'm doing that, I'll let Alyssa do a quick update. Alyssa from the Friends of Comic-Con Forum. Hello there. Yeah, let's talk about the forum. Let's find out what's been happening and what people have been talking about this week.
Sure. Well, the first thing, just to give an update, yesterday we moved to a new hosting service, so we are having a little bit of odd character things happening, missing our avatars, that type of thing. I just want to let everybody know that we are working on it and are moving forward. However, the move went smoothly, and we are now secure and should be prepped for going forward. Of course, what I'm looking at primarily is the hotel lotteries and hotel exchange. We are going to be doing an exchange this year, in a similar manner to last year. So if you are thinking about participating in the hotel exchange, please sign up, become a member on the forum, because we will be locking the database down and it will only be, the exchange will only be for members of the forum. So it would be a good idea to for everybody to get oh God, I'm not talking well today. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, join the forum, get on the exchange if you want to try it and get a hotel room. It helps out. You can give a room, you can get a room. We're also trying to work in a badge system, so there's a recognition of if somebody gave a room, we'll be able to keep track of who does the good con karma. I think Corgi Commander, who's at ECC this year, it was giving away a lot of stuff over the course of the past 3 days, and he ended up losing his wallet. And he found it, and somebody turned his wallet in with all of his cash still in it. Con karma is real. It works. Pay into the system, and you'll get something back. It may not be exactly the Funko lottery ticket that you want, but maybe it'll be an autograph or a Hall H or a this or that. So that's what's been happening on the forum. We're moving forward, looking forward to spring cons, ECC, C2E2, WonderCon, Silicon Valley Con, and San Diego Comic Fest, like we had on Matt from last week, the general manager of San Diego Comic Fest. And so there we are with. with the forum stuff. Are we going to be talking? Are you going to go straight to the programming tracks for WonderCon?
Right. Well, the thing is, today's Toucan tip. I mean, let's actually go through them kind of one at a time, because a number of them have actually been kind of adverts for upcoming Toucan tips, which is been a bit frustrating. But never mind. Let's just go through the ones as we have them. Starting with, let me just get rid of that. Started with the Toucan tip number 1, which was a 30-day countdown. We're going to be in 30 days of these, basically, non-stop Toucan tips. So basically, number 1 was just an advert to let you know that that's what was going to be happening. We went into the exhibitors and the hall map. To be honest, looking at the hall map, there isn't any major surprises in terms of the exhibitors. A lot of television people are exhibiting this year, and indeed we've been getting that with the social media, that's what they've been definitely pushing for in terms of who's the major players in terms of who's actually exhibiting. To be fair, we've been kind of getting that from all sorts of conventions, and television is definitely the way that people have been going. Andrew Dickinson has pointed out something which see, this is where I have to worry about Andrew Dickinson. I think he's A, reading my mind, and B, he's a witch and we may have to burn him. Yes, there is no Marvel on the map this year. It is something that a couple of people have been pointing out. But there's a dedicated signing area which has been allocated right in the center, which I think is right in the middle of the floor. Actually hasn't been put into a dedicated hall this year. It's just a couple of rows down from Artist Alley. It's looking like a very tight, very compact exhibit floor this year. I mean, I know that it has been in previous years, and Artist Alley, certainly, they've really been doing their best to cram everybody in. And I believe they've actually increased the table range in WonderCon this year by about 3 rows. So it really is a case of they're squeezing as many people as they possibly can. That's actually kind of related to a tip further down the line as well. So we'll get into that. But yeah, certainly Marvel is one of the biggest absentees from the exhibit floor. But still lots of television that are represented. So it's it's going to be very lively on that floor indeed. The do's and don'ts, it's your typical bits and pieces. Try and keep moving. You're going to be they're just talking about it's been very, sorry, I'm struggling to get my words out now. What is it about you? You just kind of get into it. But very much the do's and don'ts that they've listed are very practical. Certainly talking about using the facilities outside of the building, because Anaheim Convention Center, while it has a lot of features and facilities inside, it's outside where a lot of people really kind of get the most out of the convention center. So certainly the food trucks, which they are bringing back. If you've been to Anaheim Convention Center, it's just one of the highlights to get yourself out there and meet and greet with your friends and family. So do check that out. In terms of the special guests, I think the big news that got dropped at the end of last week, or just prior to our show last week, was Scott Snyder being added to the special guest list. This is it came a bit late, but then again, Scott Snyder has been very much been delayed in putting his convention calendar together. He's kind of admitted as much on social media, so he's got something on his plate. And it's got to be said, a number of the Marvel artists and creators have been very delayed in what they're actually bringing to the table. Like I say, we're not seeing them on the floor, but we are seeing the creators and the artists and the talent coming almost individually. As far as I'm aware, CB Cebulski will not be attending, but he has been turning around and saying that there's a number of the creatives who will be going. So it seems strange coming off the back of Dark Knight Metals. to how, and also with their recent talent creator meetings and their powwow that they had at Marvel, it seems odd that the way that the Marvel people are actually behaving this year. They're not coming at summer in a very cohesive manner. They're almost kind of folding around and being a little bit more loose about things. It's almost like they're not going to be having a major event or something. It seems very odd. It seems very odd that the way that Marvel are behaving this year. So,
well, they are Marvel.
This is true. They do like to try and keep things fluid.
I mean, they historically have not even announced their exclusives to San Diego until like 3 or 4 days prior to the convention. So, given, Square, all of the other Funko, other exclusive announcements that we get in the 6-week lead up, Marvel is always behind and always slow and never seems to really quite get on top of trends.
Well, yeah, but that's usually for the stuff you can buy and the stuff that they're announcing. Your talent usually knows that they're going to be going, and they're usually shouting about it by this point. There's not, just as we talk about the convention calendar, I've been doing a little bit of research into the Marvel artists, and a lot of them are just going, they're keeping very quiet. It's almost like since the actual talent picnic or breakfast that they had, everyone's just come off social media. It's almost like they're wanting to just dial back away from the noise. Or I mean, I know for a fact that Marvel have never gone out and specifically told their talent to do this, to do that. They've never given direct guidelines. But it's almost like someone just turned around and said, guys, I think we need to just go dark a bit. But certainly in terms of the way that they're announcing their calendar, there's no major talent that has been talking about what they're doing this year. Usually, I mean, I had a look at last year's tweets. Jim Lee announced his calendar straight out the gate around this time last year. Scott Snyder announced his stuff around this time this year, even into September, October. They had their year mapped out. This year, they're just dialing it back. And I'm trying to work out if that's a CB Cebulski thing, or if it's a Marvel across the board thing, or just a lot of them in the same room just going, guys, let's just dial it back a bit.
I might be going a little tinfoil hat here, but there has been kind of a shakeup in the entertainment industry, recently with a emphasis on diversity. And Marvel is historically not terribly diverse. So
true.
That may...
Considering that they, I'm
just like I said, tinfoil hat.
True. This is true. Okay. So in terms of the special guests, all of them are currently available on the on Englishman in San Diego. We have ourselves the special guest announcements, and also you can find them on comic-con.org. Some really nice players. A lot of literary special guests this year, and when I was putting my post together, I noticed it was very much your kind of academics, as it were. Certainly, it got to around the 4th or the 5th run of announcements, and it was only then that there was someone off the street would recognize. It's very much, you have to be in the know when it comes to the special guests this year. But still, it also does kind of gear up to the rest of the convention season. A number of them are being put forward for the Will Eisner Hall of Fame. So there's a number of the Hall of Fame nominees which are being given the hotel room and the special guest badge. So yeah, they're being treated nicely, as you can imagine. Right. So yeah, after that we had ourselves one of the first big pieces of news, which is the North expansion. Now, I got to see a little bit of the footprint for this when I went to the Anaheim Convention Center for D23 a year or so back, and seeing just exactly what they were doing, which was a lot of hard work on expanding the building. As has been mentioned on the Q&A, yes, they will be using the new building, and it's looking good. From pictures that I've seen so far, it's looking very good. Very much in keeping with the aesthetic of the rest of the building, but it's just going to provide so much more space as this new north building, which is just to the right of the arena, if you actually head in that direction.
I personally am really looking forward to the new water coolers, which I don't know if I retweeted a tweet that I think one of my friends had done with regard to the water coolers. They're tall enough so you can insert your water bottle in there and actually fill up your water bottle, so you don't have to, deal with, trying to get it underneath a bubbler, an old style bubbler. I tweeted this picture to Gil, who was who we had on our show at the end of San Diego in 2017.
Yeah, and I said, sorry, just quickly, this is Gil Cabrera, who's the chairman of the convention center. Yeah.
So I'm asking him, for the expansion, can we get these at San Diego Comic-Con? So he said he's working on it. We'll see. Maybe. So if you see any new features, new charging areas, new water fountains, anything new that makes it easier and more helpful to us congoers, please let us know. We'd appreciate it.
Absolutely. So this is called the ACC building. It's or ACC North. It's the 200,000 square foot expansion, or as part of that's the final footprint of the convention center once it's done. They are going to be moving the animation, television, and film panels into that particular location, as well as a virtual reality and augmented reality lounges. So it's all going to be heading in that direction. So yeah, it looks like they're moving a lot of their programming tracks into this new location. So it does look a lot of fun. Like I say, I've seen pictures so far, and when they open the doors, it's going to be rather cool. Right, number 7 came the blood drive. Always a welcome addition to both San Diego Comic-Con and to WonderCon. If you are willing to donate blood, please dive in. But then we had ourselves the one which got everyone's attention, the exclusive signings. Now, this is actually part of, let me just get my link up together. Yeah, it's part of a new portal which they've opened, which is all about, it was officially going to be for the exclusives, which also include a number of items from artists and talent that have donated exclusives to WonderCon. But now it is appearing that they're also going to be bundling in with that signing opportunities, and it is going online. So the portal, no longer will you need to wait in line in the morning to attend an exclusive signing. Now you can enter from the comfort of your home or the convenience of your mobile device. If you purchase or registered for a WonderCon Anaheim 2018 badge, able to access or eligible to access the online exclusives portal. Deadline to submit interest for a signing is 14th of March. So 10 days time, 10 a.m. Pacific time on that date. You must purchase or register a badge to be eligible to submit interest, and it will be your only opportunity to participate in the exclusive signings at WonderCon Anaheim 2018. There will be no on-site opportunities to participate in any of the exclusive signings. So it's going to be a random draw.
That kind of opens up a few problems. What happens if somebody decides for some reason to not go, and they're saying they're not going to have a standby line in case there's 10 slots? That I find that a little. I think they may end up changing that one on the fly. But I, I appreciate them not getting people's hopes up.
I think they will get enough people applying that they will have a database to hand, which they could then possibly email out. I mean, this is where I think they could be using their app better for mobile notifications. It's going to be interesting. Andrew Dickinson, it's not like they open up San Diego Comic-Con tickets up for returns, and haven't done for about 5 years now. So yeah. What's everyone's thoughts? Please do jump in on the Q&A. Is moving the exclusives and the signings. Now remember, this isn't all the autographs. This is a select number of signings which they're going to be adding to the portal.
There's been a couple of different things that have come up on the forum about this. And I think the biggest one that people are concerned about is that CCI is using this as a test run to see how it's going to go at San Diego, because admittedly, there isn't really a problem at WonderCon with the signings. They have that huge room, and it has always worked out pretty smoothly. At least it was the last couple of years when I was there. Granted, one of them was in Anaheim, so maybe a little bit, was in LA, so that may be a little bit different. But it brings to question things like, well, I usually have my kid with me. So can my child, who doesn't have a badge yet, enter in for a ticket signing? So say you've got a ticket signing for somebody that's particularly kid-friendly. There's not going to be a ticket pull for that, or do the parents have to enter it? It becomes an issue for that. The other thing that a lot of people have pointed out is that if people aren't overnighting in lines, they're going to be someplace else. So where are they going to be? Are they going to be in the Hall H line? Are they going to be in the everything else line and going for the exclusives because they know they don't have an autograph? Are they going to be dumped into the gas lamp? Are the off-sites going to get all of a sudden more crowded? And so there's a number of those different things. And then there's the whole, just, oh my God, mind-blowing thing about what does this mean for Hall H wristbands?
I don't think we can even go there. I don't see it happening for programming tracks. And you're right. I mean, at the end of the day, we're talking 19 companies which are doing exclusives. It's not the biggest poll. This is a petri dish. This is real test drive stuff. So it's 20 odd companies, including the WonderCon merch. And then you're going to be adding on the signings. As far as I'm aware, do we actually have a date for when this portal opens?
It's open now.
It's open now.
I believe it's open now. And if you don't have your badge, you can use your confirmation code. There is under the CCIweb.org website, WonderCon, there is it's WCA exclusives signings.
Yeah. I mean, I found that. It's just that I'm trying to find a list of the actual signings, the people that are listed.
I think what you have to do is you've got to be a member.
There we go then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So unfortunately, neither of us are going to WonderCon this year. If somebody is going to WonderCon and can take a snapshot, we'd love to share that with people.
Yes,
I'm
please.
sure there's a lot of people who would like to know who is who is underneath this signing. What's the choice they had. The other thing that people bring up is that if you're volunteering, you can't sign up because you don't have a badge. So it cuts the volunteers out. One other thing that somebody brought up is that they suggested that it's one winner per group. So if you were to go for, say, WB signings, you could only win a cast signing for the Flash and couldn't also win for Arrow and
doesn't this sound awfully familiar? Doesn't this sound exactly like the gripes and concerns that people had when they introduced lottery signings and lottery tracks for New York Comic-Con? This is all very familiar.
But people don't like change. Inherently, people don't like change. And given what happened last year, CCI has to address this issue. I think at least with the Hall H problems that they had last year, and people are, as Mike Armstrong said, his faith in humanity has been crushed by what some fans will do to get, to make a buck or to, get an extra badge or whatever. So there are those kinds of people out there, and CCI is doing its best to try and combat these bad people. And I'll call them bad people because they are.
Well, I mean, the Andrew Dickinson saying, or he's asking, wondering where he thinks the signing is going to be. I think those are where those tables in Hall D, Anaheim. So, yeah, it's going to be curious to see. Like you say, I don't think it's going to be. It's not the numbers aren't here to kind of warrant doing this, which means they're doing it for a reason. So I think they're just in much the same way as they introduced RFID at WonderCon. This is a way of ironing out the bugs. Whether I think this means that we could be seeing this at San Diego, but I maintain it ain't going to be for programming. It ain't going to be for Hall H. It ain't going to be for Ballroom 20. If anything, I mean, Damien Wilkinson is quite. Yeah, I like this one. I love the lottery. It's better than sitting out all night and still not getting in. Absolutely.
I'm one of the people that can sleep outside. I got the best night's sleep last year.
Right. You and I both. We had. It was both the Friday and the Saturday night. We had the best night's sleep. Saturday, I was out like a light. Andy Serkis walked by. I just went, no, can't be asked. And just went, I was gone. I had a great night. But I had a great night. I would have had a great night anyway. You could have had the Tumbler from Justice League running by. Anything would have been better than Anaheim, which was just...
Oh, yeah.
Torture.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering, yeah, I mean, D23, Pirates, Beast, Moana. No, I seem to remember it was 3:30 in the morning, and let's play Rogue One at full tilt. Oh, God almighty. It was awful. Absolutely awful. So, yeah. I think it's going to be for maybe, I don't know. I mean, we at the end of the day, we've still got the programming to come out. We are going to go into one or two highlights that people are diving in. Indeed, we've got ourselves Julia from the X-Men animated series joining us, one of the producers of that. Follow them on Twitter. The X-Men TAS Twitter is just awesome. Eric and I will be at WonderCon with our book, previously on X-Men, the making of an animated series, in small press at table 79. Happy to sell and happy to sign. Go and check them out because they are good.
Michael, yeah, absolutely. Michael P. also brings up a great point. Better than people cutting in line too. And I got to say that's an excellent point.
That's something I think we were going to be bringing this up as a topic in episodes further down the line, because while whatever they do in terms of even online lottery, wristbands, anything they do to change whatever they're going to change, that's going to be their main concern. That's going to be the main problem, which they had last year. They've had for the last 4 or 5 years. That's their main thing, I think. that San Diego Comic-Con, Comic-Con International need to get sorted for SDCC 2018. Line management needs to be the priority for myself. Okay. The rest of the tips. At number 9, we had the Artist Alley small press checklist. At number 10, collecting badges online or on site. Sorry, all badges have been mailed out to attendees, as you know. But obviously there were 1 or 2 people that weren't able to get their mailing details into the system in time, or perhaps you needed to actually get your badge while you're actually at the convention. So they are opening up the registration area in Hall D at the convention center. You do, let's have a look at this. We've got ourselves dates and times. Thursday from 12 till 7, Friday from 10 till 7, Saturday from 8:30 till 7, and Sunday from 8:30 till 5:30. Yeah, you need to have your photo ID and your badge confirmation in your hand, at which point they will allow you to get your badge on site. But it's only if you are unable to get your badge registered, or your member ID registered for your badge mailed to you. So there you go. That was the update for online on-site collection. Right. Then we had yesterday the announcement for the masquerade, which is always fun. Very similar to every year. They haven't changed the masquerade in any major way. So it's very similar in terms of applying and getting in to the actual process of the masquerade. It's one of the few things, it ain't broke, so they ain't going to change it. So the masquerade is just, it's something that I've never ever been able to make it into check out. So I've only seen online video. So there we go. And then today oh, sorry, go on, Alyssa.
It is a very fun experience, and I would recommend it, as you know, to do it at some point. I think the thing that interested me, that I was so surprised about, having just recently getting into cosplay, is that they have to make and document having made their entire costume. You cannot buy a shirt off the rack. You have to show that you stitched that shirt or made that foam latex thing, you know, that you've got on. So, and you've got to prove that you've done it, and they are very strict about it. The neat thing about it is that it allows people who are really performers to shine. And then, of course, you get the cute kids. So if you don't have something to do, it's worth going in and just, you know, hanging out up in the bleachers and, you know, way back and seeing what people are doing. It's a different experience than hanging out at the bar. You can always do that after the event.
Yeah.
So highly recommend it.
Cool. Okay, let's have a look. And then today we had ourselves one of the pointless ones. It was a tip of the day, and it was basically saying programming tracks. Everyone got excited, clicked on the link. We'll be announcing the programming tracks this week. So it was an advert, really, for the upcoming programming, which will be coming this week.
They're getting people ready. They're telling people what's going on. This is a good thing. You know, it's better than them not saying anything at all. We appreciate that. Other conventions would certainly be, you know, doling out the information bit by bit over the course of 3 or 4 months. At least CCI says we're going to do it all at once, and it's going to be later on this week.
Fair enough.
That's a good thing.
I mean, I'm fine. I mean, they have included a couple on here. You've got Room 213AB, which is going to be featuring a couple of the special guest highlight panels, which include Kevin Herm, who's behind Iron Druid Chronicles and Seven Kennings, Matthew Rosenberg, who's behind We Can Never Go Home and Phoenix Resurrection, and Liam Sharp, who's behind The Brave and the Bold. Quick detour. I picked up Brave and the Bold issue 1 this week. God, that's a gorgeous book. My God, that Liam Sharp has knocked it out of the park. He has combined Beowulf with a murder mystery No, with Wonder Woman. No, it's stunning, stunning. Do check that out. So no, fair play to Liam Sharp on that one. I find it interesting about this because Julia, like I say, from X-Men animated series, was talking about her table and actually asked in the chat room how she got a panel. At which point, or has the book got a panel? And they've turned around and said, no announcements until WonderCon releases the schedule, but we did apply. So that actually kind of tells me that there's very little in terms of actual confirmations. There's, I mean, a couple of sites. I mean, Andrew Dickinson's rolling through a couple, but I've got a number as well of panels which have been announced. For example, NBC are going to be screening their first episode of Reverie, which is going to be on Friday, March 23rd. You've got Fox, who's going to be having a panel on Friday as well for Ghosted, which is proving to be very popular by all accounts. It's not reached the UK yet, but hearing good things on social media. Freeform are going to be holding a panel for their series Sirens, which is looking like very much Splash meets X-Files meets every other, like Vampire Chronicles, young, beautiful people becoming mermaids and stuff. Very, very strange. Very, very, very odd. But no, that's going to be on the Saturday. You've got Warner Brothers Television, who've announced that they're going to be doing a anniversary panel for Batman and Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero. That's going to be on Friday, the 23rd of March. It's also going to be part of their celebration across the board in doing signings, DVD releases, Blu-ray releases of that. And then for myself, the big one, actually, no, the big one's coming up because we'll do Marvel in a second. Fear the Walking Dead and Into the Badlands from AMC. They're going to be doing a panel on Saturday, the 24th of March at 3:30 in the afternoon. Yes, we've got all the Marvel stuff coming. So here we go. Marvel have announced they're going to be doing a number of panels, including Cloak and Dagger, which is going to be taking part in North 200A. So like I say, that's going to be in their new building. So that's going to be taking part on the March 23rd. Is that the let me see if I got my dates right. The 23rd. That's a Thursday. So that's going to be taking part at 4:45 in the afternoon. Interesting that that's going to be the one that they're actually picking up. That's what they're starting with. But at the end of the day, Cloak and Dagger, they got to get the ball rolling on this. It's a very curious creation. It was curious in comics to see how that's going to work. But no, they are going to be debuting the Cloak and Dagger series. Lots of stuff for animation, which they're going to be doing, including From Pencil to Screen, which is also going to be taking part in the North Building in 300D. That's taking part on the Friday at 12:30 in the afternoon. You're going to be looking at previews of Avengers Secret Wars, Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, and also Marvel Rising, which is their new cross media part as well. Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. will be taking part in the arena, of course. That's going to be happening on the 24th. That's going to be happening at 4:45 in the afternoon, or close to the evening. So that's going to be a full one. You've also got a whole bunch of cast and crew that's going to be showing up for that, including Clark Gregg, Chloe Bennett, Ming-Na Wen, Elizabeth Henstridge, Ian Castica, Henry Simmons, Natalia Cordova-Buckley, and Jeff Ward, as well as all the other people from behind the camera. So that's going to be rather cool. We've got a whole bunch of signings, which include Cloak and Dagger and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Those, I'm guessing, will be part of the exclusives signings portal. So by all accounts and from the screen captures that I've seen, that's part of the portal. So please do let us know how that process works and also whether you're successful. So there we go. Right, let's have a look, see what people are talking about. Lucifer is first thing on Sunday, says Andrew Dickinson. So no, I haven't seen anything about Lucifer, so thank you very much indeed for that, pointing that one out. I'm guessing that is there a panels thread at the moment on the forum, Melissa?
I don't think there really is at this point for San Diego for WonderCon at this point. I think a lot of well, there very well could be. Well, I've been, to be honest with you, I've been so wrapped up in trying to get the weekend television and the Academy Awards together and trying to get the forum moved over. So there's just been a lot of different things. And talking about the autograph signing, the new process for autograph signings has been pretty, that's been taking up most of my time. So I don't know. A lot of people are getting ready for WonderCon, that's for sure. But not having going to it, I haven't really been paying as much attention to it as I should. Sorry.
No worries. Okay. I might even try because let me just have I'm going to have a quick look at this and see what I can see. Right, but that's what's been announced so far. Like I say, the panels themselves or the programming tracks are going to be announced this week as part of the Talkin Tips. So we will be going into those a little bit next week as well. Right. Yes, we are kind of keeping our eyes open at this point because Dan Berry has said that he's going to do his best to try and join us to give us a little bit of a taste of what is happening at Seattle. Emerald City Comic-Con has been taking part this weekend, so hopefully he'll be able to join us. And so we're keeping an eye on that at the moment. So that's why we're seeming a little bit distracted. So bear with us.
While we're waiting for Dan, I have to say it's quite interesting how Kevin Smith handled his near fatal heart attack. I was really appreciated his forthrightness and his posting and keeping us abreast. We didn't have to resort to TMZ or any of these other, hearsay organizations. And he blasted it right out there and was so forthright with his, I just survived a major heart attack, and
it wasn't small either. It wasn't just kind of, this was the one that could have easily ended him.
Yeah, 100% blockage in one of his major arteries. And so I have to say that I'm just, hats off to him. My estimation of him increased. And it wasn't a stunt, it wasn't anything. And here we have Dan. Hello, Dan.
Let's hang on a second. Let's finish the conversation. Let's do halfway through a sentence then. Sorry, Dan. We're just talking about Stan Lee, about we're getting into Stan Lee in a bit, but about Kevin Smith. Yeah, the fact that there wasn't any of the Chinese whispers because he just kind of stemmed it pretty much from the word go. I thought that was very handy to have.
It was very nice. It was very nice. Refreshing. As opposed to we're getting the dribs and drabs from Stan Lee. We're not quite sure. We hear that he has pneumonia, yet he's posting quite a bit. He probably has somebody that does posting for him, but and there's pictures of him sitting up and dressed. So you kind of don't know what's going on with him as you do with the Kevin Smith situation.
Very much, yeah. It's also very much a case of a little bit of, like you say, a little bit of gossip. Certainly in terms of this whole business with his manager, which we talked about last week with Matt Dunford. Considering that we're looking at a number of $215,000 check. Which is just absolutely insane. Okay, tell you what, he's been waiting long enough, so I think we'll dive in. Dan Berry joins us from Emerald City Comic-Con. You've had yourself a busy weekend, haven't you, sir?
I have. Right now, I'm standing outside the press room waiting to come and unlock it.
Okay. Well, fair enough. I mean, it looks like we've got a half-decent signal from you already. So, I mean, we'll kind of dive straight in. Liking the T-shirt, by the way. That looks there you go. That looks vaguely familiar. There you go. Okay, so Emerald City Comic-Con. I mean, certainly from what we've seen online so far, it's looking very busy, very active. How's it? I mean, is this your first time? What's it been compared to previous Emerald Cities for you?
It seems that like about the same as last year. The artist alley seems different this, or a little bit bigger this year. They kind of rearranged how the tables are so they can fit more people in. The exhibit hall seems about the same, a little bit smaller, but it's a good.
We knew we were going to get this. We knew it was going to be so close. We kind of lost you at the back end there, Dan, and I think we're kind of losing you. Yeah, I think
the internet connection seems lagging again.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, what's been the highlight for you this weekend so far?
All the interviews, the cosplay contest yesterday was really good. Some of the ones that won, which all pictures up pretty good. Just wandering artist alley, wandering the exhibit hall. The cosplay, though, by far and away, some of the best I've seen.
Excellent. Anything you want to ask, Alyssa?
Who have you done interviews for? Who have you gotten cut?
I've interviewed Terry Mayo with T-Pub Comics. I've interviewed Wendy and Richard Peeney for ElfQuest. I've interviewed, who else have I spoke to? Leonard, you're going to have to help me because I'm having a brain freeze in some of these.
Well, I mean, certainly the highlight, like I say, for myself was, yeah, you've just done some cracking interviews. The Peenies was just a great interview.
And these are on
T. Franklin for you, Leonard.
And T. Franklin, yeah, absolutely. T. Franklin is the writer-creator of Bingo Love, which you may have seen on social media last year as one of a very successful Kickstarter. Excellent book. Got released by Image as a mainstream graphic novel release back in on Valentine's Day this year. Very, very cool. But no, the Peenies interview was very good. No, you've just done us proud, sir.
One more time.
You've done us proud.
Oh, thank you.
So I
did one interview today with Island Blue Comics, and I've got an interview with David Mack coming up in about an hour and change. And then that's going to be it.
Have you managed to get the Funko exclusive at the Reed Pop booth? I think it was a glow-in-the-dark cat.
No, that was at Skybound, and I got that for Leonard.
Oh, you did get that for Leonard. You didn't get an extra one for me?
I didn't know you wanted one. And the thing is, they didn't, when they were selling them, they didn't put a limit on it. So some guy came by and bought like 36 of them.
Oh.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Okay,
said no.
Fair enough.
So I was happy with one, but yeah, for you, Leonard.
Honestly.
Unless I decide to resell it.
Just to explain, I know that it may confuse a couple of people turning around and say, a glowing cat. It's the lying cat from Saga. It's oh man, yeah.
It's very, very cute. I don't collect Funkos. I have a couple of Funkos, maybe one box worth of Funkos, and that's what I limit myself to. But this one I would have on my desk just because it's so cute. I love cats. Uh-oh.
No, that was me. We also have another one which was pointed out by Aaron Ervis, Russell Nolte, as well. That it was another great interview. Now the great thing about that interview as well is it's a good nearly 18-19 minute, and he really gets into the kind of support of supporting fans that really have the best of intentions for comics at heart, because there does seem to be a lot of people, as we've talked about on the show a number of times, about a minority of voices that just want to break everything down in an attempt to kind of recreate a forgotten past of comics. Russell talks very much about embracing fans that are wanting to move comics forward. No, very, very good interview indeed. It was a lot of fun to listen to.
Thank you.
So all of these interviews are going to be on your site, Leonard, as part of your Patreon?
Well, right now they are available. I think there's only one that Dan has sent me, which I haven't managed to get up online yet. So that will be posted once this hangout's done, actually. But at the moment, Russell Nolte, the ElfQuest interview, all the rest of them, T. Franklin. That's all up and running. They're all available for the Patreon supporters, and they're going to be exclusive for a couple of days. And then we're going to put them public on Wednesday, and we're going to be creating posts around them as well. So, yeah, everyone can get the chance to listen to them. But for now, they are available for the Patreon supporters at patreon.com/EnglishmanSDCC. So there we go.
Sounds wonderful. Perfect. What are you looking forward to, Dan?
The David Mack interview today, and then start getting ready to head home.
Yeah. So what was the highlight for you personally? Not necessarily interviews, but the highlight of the event.
I think also in the way that the event's been organized, perhaps. Is there any changes that have been for the positive, would you say?
It seems about the same as last year, a little bit more organized in terms of getting the people on the floor and whatnot.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if there's one thing that ReedPop have got down, it's kind of management of crowds. So yeah, it's good to hear that they're maintaining that level of standard. So fantastic. Listen, we'll let you get off and prepare for the rest of your day and also for your interviews. Dan, thank you very much indeed for joining us, sir. Oh, yeah, he's gone. He's gone. We're gonna have to say thank you to him at a later date. But there we go. Thank you very much indeed. We knew it was going to be a bit of an in and out, but I wanted to get a sense. Oh, hang on a second. Nope, he's gone. Yeah, we wanted to get a sense of what Emerald City was doing this year, and it seems to be a very well run, very efficient. I'm just trying to work out if that lack of spontaneity is taking a bit of a spark out of it, perhaps, because we like things to be a little bit more fluid. We like things to be a bit of a surprise. Emerald City has just been kind of, we're here and we're doing our con, and this is how we do things. So, I mean, what's been your take on Emerald City in terms of what you've seen on social media?
It seems as though that it's kind of getting. It's the first con of the spring, so people are getting getting things in place. This is the first major ReedPop show. Then they've got a few others coming down the pike. Plus, they've got the new spring con, the new fall con in Philadelphia next year. So I think this is kind of just ironing out all of the basics, and where it's located in Seattle is right in the middle of everything. It's a great, easy to use location with a lot of restaurants, and a lot of public transportation, and just a lot of things going on around it. So I think that they've got it dialed in really good, since they've been doing shows there for quite a while, and with the new emphasis that ReedPop is putting on keeping an Emerald City team, keeping a New York Comic-Con team together, as opposed to spreading them all out over the country, I think is a good thing. But what that ends up doing, perhaps, is making it more Seattle focused as opposed to countrywide focused. But the point being is that it's absolutely a great con. I wish I could have gone to it this year. I wish I could go to C2E2. I wish I could go to WonderCon. Unfortunately, I am just too tired and exhausted with doing everything else that I'm doing at this point. Next year, I hope to be out on the West Coast and to be able to go to both of those cons again. It's a short trip up coast, So why not?
Yeah,
fingers crossed.
Cool. Excellent stuff. As being pointed out by Michael P., we are talking also a month away from the other ReedPop major event, which is going to be C2E2, which takes part at the beginning of April. So, yeah, it's a case of just efficient con organization, and they know what they're doing at this point, and they really are putting on the best of shows. Andrew Dickinson has shared a link with us detailing a post that's gone up on Variety, which is listing a number of panels which are going to be taking part over the course of WonderCon. So very quickly to run through these. Friday the 23rd of March, we've got Unikitty, which is going to be taking part in Room North 200B. This is the Cartoon Network show, and it's going to be taking part between 2:30 and 3:30 in the afternoon. Teen Titans Go, going to be taking part 3:30 to 4:30 in 200B. And then in 200A, or North A, you've got the 100, which is going to be a panel which is going to be ahead of the season 5 premiere. This is going to be taking part in the evening, rather suitable for the show as it happens, 6 till 7 p.m. On the Saturday, you've got confirmed panels for Constantine, which is going to be taking part in North 200A. Krypton, which is going to be following that panel. Let's have a look. No, Constantine at 10 till 11. So one of the first panels of the day. Krypton is going to be getting a panel between 2 and 3. Obviously, this is going to be following the premiere that happens on the 21st of March. So it'll be a case of whether everyone's excited about the show or not. And then you've got the Siren panel, which we talked about earlier. And first panel of the day, it's going to be in the arena on the Sunday. Lucifer is going to be bringing Tom Ellis, Lauren German, Tom Welling, and Amy Garcia to the no, that's going to be a video message. So it's going to be a screening of the new episode of the drama. No news yet if anyone's actually going to be attending of that particular showing. So, yeah, okay. Interesting thing to start things off. Black Lightning is going to be happening in the arena from 12:45 to 1:15. This is going to be a screening of the new episode Sins of the Father, followed by a Q&A session with the series producers and writers. No cast announced for that particular panel. So yeah, it looks like the Sunday is looking a little bit dry at the moment. We'll find out obviously when the programming tracks happen and come out this week. Right. Anything else that we want to get into and talk about? I suppose we can get into Oscars if you want to.
That's where I was looking. Go for it. I not being terribly up on all of the Oscars, I have to say, my Week in Television article has, which I actually wrote this week, which is kind of a rarity, is a reflection on where we are, and given Black Panther, given the Me Too movement, I have to think that there's going to be a lot of speeches from the winners of the guests and the winners of the Oscars this year. So be prepared for that, because I can't help but think they will be happening. Of course, Oprah's speech at the Golden Globes a few weeks ago was spectacular, and I expect we're going to hear a few more of those. In terms of the Oscars themselves, The Shape of Water seems to be, and I'm going primarily by a listing on Variety, which is the trade rag that I usually read.
It does seem that Get Out has been shunted further down the list. It seems to be kind of tipped by Lady Bird, Three Billboards, which has come off the back of obviously the wins they had at the BAFTAs. Mm-hmm. Call Me by Your Name, which seems to be a bit of a dark horse. I don't see that film picking up anything, but I think it's just going to take the fact that it's been nominated and run with that, certainly in terms of its promotion. Shape of Water seems possibly the best bet, but at the end of the day, it's a fantasy film, and I'm wondering if that's just going to kind of act a little bit in a detriment when it comes to the Oscars. I would personally think that Three Billboards has got a little bit more of a momentum, even though possibly it doesn't necessarily deserve it. It's a great film, but it's not. Sorry, it's a good film, but it may not be seen as a great film. I don't know. But all of them seem really dark horses in a year when Get Out would have, if it was a little bit closer to the Oscars ceremony, it would have just walked away with it. And we're also on a tide of change in Hollywood, so it would have. I'm just wondering if there's been a case of everyone's just really, I don't know. I'm trying to work out a way of wording this. Fatigue, perhaps. Whereas the sea change in Hollywood is something that we all agree could just continue the momentum. I'm just wondering if now that the stories are starting to dry up, there's just kind of there seems to be a stagnant feel, if that makes any sense. Am I making sense?
I'm not quite sure what you're trying to go for, because what I'm feeling is that the stories are more varied. That they're a little less. They're a little less big production. The big production shows aren't winning the Best Picture awards. They aren't. We're getting the Shape of Water, and we're not hearing about Blade Runner.
We are never going to hear about Blade Runner. Okay.
Well, I'm just saying, in terms of big productions, big production shows are not being shown, and part of my problem is that The Shape of Water and Three Billboards, these didn't make it to the smaller theaters. So you have all of these, you have a lot of people who don't see some of these shows. They don't have the opportunity to see The Shape of Water or Three Billboards, and all they see are the big expensive Blade Runners and the like, and the Marvel movies. So they don't really, so they become disinvested in the Oscars.
No, I get that. I mean, the thing about, it's like Super Catchick says, I don't normally watch the Oscars because big Hollywood dominates the way that the nominations go. But I'm going to be watching tonight, loving seeing so much diversity in genre films nominated. I mean, if we actually have a look at Best Picture, let's go down the actual list. I mean, there's the 10 films that are nominated. Call Me by Your Name, which I think is a little bit too indie for it to get any kind of traction as a Best Picture. Darkest Hour, it's possibly a big front runner, obviously off the back of Gary Oldman with his win at the BAFTAs. Dunkirk, I think, has lost steam, and also was possibly a little bit too needlessly experimental with its timeline to get everyone's juices. It was possibly too complex. I mean, considering that we're seeing a number of articles about older, jaded Hollywood voters turning around and saying, "Well, I don't think Get Out's it's too noisy, it's too diverse." No, I'm not. You're seeing so many of these articles. Looking at the age range of people voting at for the Academy Award, I think Darkest Hour would have just Dunkirk would have just confused the crap out of them. The Florida Project, Get Out, like I say, I think is possibly for myself the most worthy winner. It's a great film. Let's take away all of the discussions and the think pieces. It's a great film. I, Tonya, which I personally haven't seen, but I'm hearing great things. If anything, please let Alison Janney win an Oscar. Please let Alison Janney win an Oscar. That would be awesome. Lady Bird, possibly again a little bit too indie and niche. The Post was possibly a little bit too understated. It was the less flashy Spielberg film we could have ever had. Great storytelling, and at the end of the day, is this generation's. I was going to say Watergate, but it's actually talking about the Watergate scandal. So, but yeah, personally, I think it's going to be between The Shape of Water and Three Billboards. Super Catchick, side note, Get Out just won Best Film at the Indie Spirit Awards, and the past 4 films to win that have gone on to win the Oscar for Best Picture. Interesting. Okay. We'll see how that goes. Andrew Dickinson's talking about Best Cinematography. yeah, I mean, if there's going to be something that Blade Runner is going to be talked about, it's going to be for best cinematography, because it is arguably the best looking film we've had in the last 12 months. It looked gorgeous. Dunkirk was more of a achievement rather than an actual something to really enjoy looking at. I'd also say the same for Darkest Hour as well. I think Blade Runner should be winning something in terms of production design, cinematography, something like that. But it has been an interesting year that we're debating a standout. It's such a strong lineup. So I think, let's put it this way. It's going to be one of those years where any one of them could win, and I think a lot of people would be happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of good storytelling going on right now. And you know, and I just wish that it was kind of more mainstream, that it was getting more shunted out into the mainstream media. You know, Blade Runner, visual effects, sound editing, you know, all of those kinds of things. Production design, you know, it definitely has a possibility. But so did Shade of Water. I mean, just shooting those underwater scenes without it being underwater, just, you know, absolutely riveting. Very, very interesting. I'm looking forward to that. And I have to say, with Best Actress, I am really glad Lady from Three Billboards is a contender in this one. You know, I haven't seen the movie. I certainly have seen enough clips of it. So yeah,
I've seen the film. It's problematic because it takes the issues which he talks about and just really throws it in your face. No, there's Frances McDormand throws in a brilliant, amazing performance. But then again, all of them: Sally Hawkins for Shape of Water, Margot Robbie for I, Tonya, Saoirse Ronan for Lady Bird, and Meryl Streep for The Post. I mean, like, I've seen 3 of those, and the ones that I've seen have just been outstanding. I think the only one which I kind of struggle with in terms of actually putting someone forward is Best Director, because Get Out, while it is a worthy winner of Best Film, that's down to the strength of its characters, its performances, its production design, the air, the sense of air in Hollywood at the moment. So all of it coalesces to make Get Out an important and worthy winner. But I think Guillermo del Toro has just done such a phenomenal job on Shape of Water. So I'm wondering if the Academy are going to kind of go, okay, let's give Del Toro the Oscar for Shape of Water, but we can't give the fish shagging film the Oscar. So let's give it to Get Out. So I don't know. I mean, then again, Dunkirk. But no,
yeah, it would be wonderful if they spread it around a bit. A lot of people did like Dunkirk. I will say that Matt from last week's our guest last week, when he said he had to walk out of Dunkirk because of its inaccuracies, that was disheartening. I was really hoping that it was a little bit more historically accurate, but regardless, that shouldn't affect a film.
Christopher Nolan has always turned around and said it doesn't matter what realism does for a film. I'm telling a story here, and it's about what I want to put on screen. Let's look at some of the genre ones, because I did retweet a post from Channel Star Wars this morning asking about what awards Star Wars could be picking up. At the end of the day, I think this could be the year that Star Wars is finally not given the its due, because there's just been so much strength in terms of some of the more technical categories. Best visual effects. My God, Blade Runner 2049, Dunkirk, The Shape of Water, Star Wars Last Jedi, and War for the Planet of the Apes. Good grief. How the hell are you supposed to pick from a field like that? It's just insane. War for the Planet of the Apes. The Planet of the Apes films have been stunning. I've been such a massive fan. In terms of like cinematography, like I say, with Blade Runner 49, Call Me By Your Name. Don't understand why that is in there. Dunkirk, yes. Mudbound, I haven't seen. Shape of Water, I understand, but it's possibly a little bit too. It's not flashy enough. I think it's going to be between Dunkirk and Blade Runner on that one. Best makeup and hairstyling between Darkest Hour, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and Wonder. But I would personally put that towards. Oh, I think it's going to be one of those years where the genre films are going to be dismissed. So Darkest Hour, I think, on that one for myself. Andrew Dickinson is asking best score for Star Wars. No. I am one of the biggest John Williams fans going. I love his work, as quite rightfully you should, because the man's a genius. Last Jedi went in one ear and went straight out the other. It's not best score material, not with the other scores that have been out there. I mean, considering you've got this could be the year Greatest Showman. Does considering that? Oh no, sorry. Okay, let's have a look at the best original score. Let's have a look. You've got Coco, Darkest Hour, Dunkirk, Phantom Thread, and Shape of Water. I think Coco is a gorgeous score. Actually, it's. I'm not a Michael Giacchino fan, and it's just it works really, really well with the rest of the film, and it's great score. Best original song, you've got Beauty and the Beast, Call Me By Your Name, Mystery of Love, Coco, Remember Me, and I think this is going to be the one which Greatest Showman gets because that film just seems to be coasting on. I don't know where it got absolutely killed when it first came out, with absolutely nobody going to see it. It didn't make it just made zero money. And yet it's just coasting along, and just everyone's really still enjoying it. So yeah, I think that's going to be an interesting. That's going to be an interesting category to keep an eye on. I mean, which categories are you going to be? Is it going to be all the technical stuff first thing?
For me, primarily, I think I'm going to be listening for the jokes, the humor. Jimmy Kimmel, that sort of thing. That's what I'm kind of looking at it for. I'm hoping that there's a good mix of movies that win. I prefer it when when it's spread out. You don't have Shape of Water wins 11 Academy Awards. You know, it kind of is. You know, I'd like something to pick and choose from. So those are the types of things that I'm looking at. Plus we have, you know, the whole diversity issues coming out, and especially what with Jessica Jones coming out later on this week with Netflix, and a recent show called Good Girls. You've got kind of just some in Black Lightning. You've got some really serious kind of motivation for people to just want, you know, to want to see these kinds of things and get out. Hopefully, we'll make we'll win a couple of awards because it deserves it. You know, it does, and hopefully we'll get to see that tonight, and we'll get to see some happy people on that.
I mean, so long as The Boss Baby wins Best Animated Feature, just so I can actually say the words, The Boss Baby, Oscar-winning animated film. Leanne D, I think Baby Driver was overlooked because of the Kevin Spacey factor. Possibly, but I'd also say that people were kind of taking their thoughts on Baby Driver before the stories about Kevin Spacey. It's a fast-paced film, and it does deserve stuff like sound editing and sound mixing, but I think it's a little bit soulless. So it's more style over substance. I enjoyed Baby Driver, but that's my personal feelings on that film. So there we go. Right. Anything else that we can talk about?
Week in TV.
Go for it.
Quickly. I will try and do this quickly, as we've already addressed the Academy Awards. And we all do, everybody I think knows that Jessica Jones is dropping on Friday on Netflix. Is that when it's dropping in the UK too?
It's yeah, I believe it's worldwide. So yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, because when it first came out in 2015, it was a different type of Marvel show, and now that we're getting more stronger women, what with Wonder Woman and all of the stronger women that we've been seeing recently, Jessica Jones coming out, we're kind of seeing this through the eyes of the Me Too movement. So it's she's a PTSD. She's not playing the heroic woman. So I kind of wonder when Marvel is going to get on the bandwagon and actually put out a Dark Phoenix, or the other one was or a Black Widow movie. We're hearing rumors. Hopefully that will happen soon, because I'd love a kick-ass Marvel movie. For a female kick-ass Marvel movie.
Yep, it's called Captain Marvel, and it's on the way.
Yes, yeah, I'm
sorry, but people keep forgetting that film's coming out.
Well, good, and I'm looking forward to it, and I'll absolutely go see it the first week it opens, and plunk my money down and support it, because I want to see it. I want to see what Marvel does with this kind of stuff. That would be great. Speaking of that type of thing, if you haven't caught Good Girls, Christina Hendricks, and who was in Firefly, obviously, and Mad Men, Rita from Parks and Rec, and Mae Whitman from Arrested Development, and the lead in The Duff. Absolutely hilarious, good acting. Just give it a watch. I think it's probably, you can stream it at this point, because the first episode has already aired. We get into another show on Hulu, which is something that people may want to watch. It's called Hard Sun, and it's your basic good cop, bad cop team up, corrupt cop with morals team up. However, the world is, the sun is going to explode in 5 years, and people know it. So their job is to keep society going for 5 years. So it's pretty gritty. I've seen a couple of the previews for it. Yeah, it's fun. It's a 6-episode drop.
Fun's a bit strong.
Well, perhaps not fun, but it sounds like it's got enough depth to it to be interesting. It drops on Wednesday, and it is on Hulu. It's only 6 episodes, so there isn't like a 2-week binge that you're going to have to go through to watch it. But I'm going to give it a shot. It's getting a little bit of buzz. Let's see. Netflix is also doing, bringing some more anime to us. AICO Incarnation is coming, the first season of that. We get the second season of Trolls on Netflix for the younger set, and for the older set, we get the second season of Sneaky Pete on Amazon Prime. Or yeah, your classic grifter, smart talking guy. So I'm kind of looking forward to that one. And Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is having their 100th episode this week too. We say goodbye to Falling Water. I know you're a huge Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fan, so that's why I wanted to make sure and mention that one. I don't know what they're planning on doing, if they're going to do anything special for it or not, but it should be noted. Star Wars Rebels is wrapping up its series. Apparently, they've got an hour and a half, 2 episodes, perhaps a 2-hour run that they're going to be doing later on this week. And I was just looking at Andrew English's Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. season 5 comes to E4 on Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay. So And then
we're behind on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. here in the UK, so
oh, sorry.
oh yes.
Didn't mean to mention that. Then I hate to rub that in, but a lot of people are looking forward to the Star Wars Rebels wrap up. You've got a bookend, so you kind of know how things are gonna end up a little bit, but there's probably going to be some good season enders, and people are looking forward to this one. I haven't been watching it, as people know, but I am sympathetic to people who are following the show.
Okay.
And that is the week in television.
Thank you. A couple of people are pointing out some of the bits and pieces that have been announced this week. Avengers 3, Infinity War, yes. The worldwide premiere date has been shifted.
Yes.
Back a week to April 27th. It made sense because it does continue with the momentum generated by Black Panther. It gives a bit of distance between Infinity War and Solo, so that gives Disney a bit of gap between two major event films that they're bringing out. And it also kicks every English person in the teeth, as we thought we were going to be getting Infinity War for a full week before you guys, and we're only now getting it for 5 hours before you.
Yeah.
Which means it gives us plenty of time, just 5 hours, to watch it and spoil the crap out of it before you go and see it 5 hours later. But there we go.
So you're complaining because you're no longer special. This is what I'm hearing. I'm not special anymore.
I'm never special. Let's okay. I'm special, but that's as special as I get. So there we go. What else have we got? Expanse season 3 premieres next week, and we've also got the confirmed date for Legion, which starts on April the 3rd as well. Yeah.
Well, we're getting into. We don't do the following week. This week, Expanse premieres a week from today, which is in next week's television shows. So that's why I didn't mention it, Michael, because I know who said that. Yes, Michael P., I'm looking at you.
This is true. And he's just commenting again. Yeah, he's just ramming it home. There we go. Right, fine.
Love you, mean it. Hugs.
Yeah, we know. So there we go. Lots of stuff. I mean, I think it's been represented at WonderCon just how big television has turned into. I mean, it says a lot that we've had Mute coming out here in the UK. I think it's gone worldwide on Netflix as well, moving from a cinematic release to Netflix. We've had Annihilation, which will be it's got a cinema release in the States, but I believe it's coming straight to Netflix here in the UK. I'm looking forward to seeing Annihilation when it comes out. So yeah, we're seeing that shift. So tonight's atmosphere is going to be interesting for the Oscars, because are they seeing the kind of disappearing of their audience onto the smaller screen? So tonight's going to be fun. I'm going to go off and get myself ready, because I am going to watch the Oscars very, very, very late at night for me here in the UK, usually between 2 and 5 in the morning, which is when I get to see that. But looking forward to it. Where can people find you online, Alyssa?
People can always find me online on my Twitter account, which is Friends of CCI, and on my website, which is friendsofcc.com.
I'm just very quickly going to type this, because Michael P has asked, did I like Mute? I found it... Right. Okay. Very quickly then. Pocket review.
No. Okay. No, he's giving me a hard time about like talking.
I know.
And then he's like, okay, no, one more thing. One more thing.
Are you ready? 30 seconds. Pocket review. It's watchable. It's interesting. It's not the Blade Runner we were sold. It didn't need to be set in the future. It's got some interesting characters. It's also got about 3/4 of a cast list which didn't necessarily need to be there. It's got some really strong acting in the lead and supporting acting roles, but it didn't need to be set in the future, and it didn't need any of that. It's watchable. I didn't hate it. There we go. That's my review of Mute. So
that's
people
going to get me to watch it. Absolutely. I mean, with all of the TV that I've got on my list to watch at this point, just to go through some of my backlog: Sneaky Peek, Runaways, Atlanta. Oh my God, is coming, back for the second season. Donald Glover. I had an opportunity to read a piece on him, and if you haven't read up on him and what he's doing, it's just amazing guy, amazing creator. He's probably not going to stick with Atlanta for very long. Black Lightning, The Tick, Star Trek Discovery, those are all on my list, and Mute is not on there at all. Just had to comment.
Yeah. I'd eventually get around to watching it if I was going to recommend it. So there we go. Right. You can find me on the social medias at Englishman SDCC, of course, on wherever you can find us, including Vero, which I've got to try and get back into. Have they sorted the app yet out? Have they sorted the app out? Who knows?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Yeah. Okay. You can also find. You can find out what we get up to on an EnglishmanInSanDiego.com. All of the interviews that Dan has been hosting this weekend at Emerald City will be going live on Wednesday. We're also going to be creating some post shells around those as well, so you can get some pictures and see what basically what Dan is talking about when he does those interviews. And of course, you can support the Hangout and the website by going to patreon.com/EnglishmanSDCC. Thank you very much indeed for watching today. No real idea about what we're going to be talking about next week.
We're open to suggestions.
Suggestions, I think we'll gladly take. Yeah, do let us know what you would like us to talk about. I do know, like I say, we've got C2E2 on the way. We've got a number of shows that are coming up around the corner. So if there's anything you want us to talk about, do let us know. And of course, we will be covering all the updates that we get from WonderCon, including the programming tracks that we get announced this week. Do take care. Enjoy the rest of the week. If you are here in the UK, hopefully you don't get flooded from all this snow that is now currently melting. And likewise in the States, I know that you've been getting it as well. So please wrap up warm and stay safe. Take care. We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.